Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, April 18th, 2023. We get together with our distribution partners most weekday mornings at this time to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and to support each of you. Today's training is going to have the following purpose. We want to make sure that we all have an understanding of the difference but the interrelationship between the credit and funding program and QuickCash. So let's review each one separately and then talk about how they can interface for even better client outcomes. So the credit and funding program, as stated, and each of you should have a landing page that looks just like this. You should have a link that takes your prospects to a page that looks just like this. And so when they fill this out, it's hard-coded to you, it's linked to you, and you get credit. But that's not the point today. But in brief, what does the credit and funding program do? We help participants access a minimum of $100,000 of funding. How do we do that? By helping them improve their 3 C's so they qualify for funding, the 3 C's being credit, capacity, collateral. Is there a setup fee? And this is important as we talk about the interrelationship between this and QuickCash. Is there a setup fee for the credit and funding program? There is a refundable setup fee. If you're a white label partner, you determine what that is because you're building your margin in. If you're funneling through the affiliate program, the participants are paying a little less than $1,000 as a refundable setup fee. So we can provide the resources and perform the services to strengthen their 3 C's. So in other words, they don't pay for collateral, they get collateral free. They don't pay for help with capacity, they get help with capacity free. They don't pay for better credit, they get that free. And then that refundable setup fee comes back to them after their capital raise. So let's say you have someone that enrolls or wants to enroll in credit and funding. They need it. So in other words, what do they need? They want funding, but they don't qualify yet. They need help strengthening their file. That's what you and I do. So that's where QuickCash can complement. So let's talk about QuickCash and then we'll dovetail back and talk about how to link one to the other if you wish. So QuickCash is not credit and funding. Different tab, different program. It's a very targeted resource whereby we have clients that are looking for, well, QuickCash. And the way that works is that we're transferring receivables over, which you'll see here in step 3. We transfer receivables over and then help them liquidate those. Now they're getting immediate benefit because the receivables that we transfer over strengthens their balance sheet, improves their liquidity, and then of course through liquidation improves their cash flow. So two different programs. Now let's get to the heart of the matter, talking about the interrelationship between the two. So if someone enrolls in credit and funding program and they don't want to pay or can't pay the refundable setup fee, we can defer that. We can delay it, defer it. And the way that we defer it is specifically enrolling them into QuickCash. So if someone enrolls in credit and funding, they don't want to or can't pay the refundable setup fee, we can defer that. And that happens by them enrolling in QuickCash. Now, can individuals enroll in QuickCash alone without enrolling in credit and funding? Certainly. Could they enroll in QuickCash first? And then once they've liquidated their receivables, in other words, they have the cash flow coming through, then could they enroll in credit and funding? Sure. So there's not a specific order they have to go in, but I just want to make sure that you're all clear of the differences, but the synergy between the two. Now, we have some clients that are interested. A client yesterday came to mind, just talked to him this morning. He enrolled in the credit and funding program. He paid his refundable setup fee, no issue, but he immediately enrolled in QuickCash because he wanted these benefits as well. So what's the point? You don't have to be unable to pay the refundable setup fee and credit and funding to go into QuickCash. QuickCash, pretty much anyone can enroll, right? There's no minimum credit scores. It's not a loan, doesn't have to be paid back. What he saw in it, and I think a lot of people do, QuickCash is wealth building, because how does one build wealth? Well, we build wealth by acquiring assets. And frankly, the best assets are those that either appreciate and or spit off cash. So for instance, if you're in the stock market, you could buy a stock. Now you're at risk of it going down or not increasing, but there are some stocks that pay out dividends, and those are especially popular in today's environment. Well, when individuals enroll in QuickCash, they're only paying a $99, what's called a title transfer fee that allows us to transfer the assets legally and have that documented for consideration. So they're paying less than $100 for the title transfer fee, and they're getting almost immediately $10,000 in assets. Well, that's pretty good, right? If you and I could go out and buy a $10,000 piece of land, and all we had to do is go to the title company and pay $99.99 for the title company to transfer ownership, would you do that? Yeah, probably so. So I want to open it up for questions because I just want to make sure that we're all clear on the difference between these two and how they can interrelate. All right, so Alfred has the first question. So Alfred's asking, if someone comes into QuickCash and they want more than 10,000, what are their options? Great question. Well, Alfred, they could enroll in QuickCash multiple times. I have one client that has literally enrolled 12 times, just herself, 12 times. So of course, she, once we get the paperwork processed today, because she bought 2 initially and she bought 10 more yesterday, just paid this morning. So she'll have $120,000 in assets. So yes, a person can buy multiple, can participate or enroll multiple times in QuickCash. The other option, of course, is they could enroll in QuickCash, and if we determine and that they determine that they want more, they could also buy the full collateral support program, which is a packaged $100,000 portfolio. Because in QuickCash, it's specifically a $10,000 portfolio. Could you get to 100,000 by buying 10 of them? You could, but the alternative is to enroll in the collateral support program. So hopefully that answers your question, Alfred. So again, for people, the problem that you and I are typically solving as their technical advisors is you and I are helping them get qualified for funding. How do we do that? Improving their credit if needed, improving their capacity, in other words, their documented cash flow if needed, and improving their collateral if needed. So in the credit and funding program, we include at no cost credit assistance, capacity assistance, and the collateral transfer. So that's all included. It's a bundled approach. That's why people like it. The QuickCash is separate, can be used in conjunction with it. QuickCash is just is narrowly focused, and it's typically used by individuals who don't qualify for a loan yet, but not always the case. All right, so we've got some more questions coming in. Carlos asks, QuickCash, does the merchant receive any info after they pay? Okay, great. So yesterday, on yesterday's training, we had a training on how you can monetize QuickCash. And I encourage you, Carlos, if I'm reading your question correctly, or anyone else, go back and look at yesterday's training, and we show how with no cost, no investment, no liability, you can earn literally $100 an hour helping people with QuickCash. So that was yesterday's training. You can see that on YouTube on the Business Paralegal channel. That'll describe that, because I think that's your question, Carlos. All right, then Carlos's follow-up question is software. So if you're going to collect money from the client as a white label partner or otherwise, you're right. You'll need to decide, Carlos, how you want clients to pay you. But that's the same question that every CEO of every business decides. Whether you're running an auto repair shop, a bakery, daycare, doesn't matter. So, typically you'll get set up with credit card processing. You could accept MasterCard, Visa, American Express, Discover if you want. You could go to alternative financing and accept Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, or others, but it's entirely up to you. What you could simply do, Carlos, is depend upon your target audience, just ask clients how they would like to pay you, and just listen to them and get set up for whatever it is that your clients may offer. Of course, bank-to-bank wires, ACHs, are always reliable too. All right, and then Alfred's got a question, what level of assistance when we help liquidate? So that's a great point. So here's the process. Someone enrolls in QuickCash, and so they would fill out this form, and then we would send them the QuickCash Adobe, and then they complete the QuickCash Adobe. And then our internal goal is to get that 10,000 transferred to them in 24 hours, within one business day. Typically it's happening same day, but at least within 24 hours, not including weekends or holidays. So now they have it. When they receive it, they're receiving an email that has training information, support information, and of course access to the assets. So it's pretty seamless. The only, I guess, issue is if they don't see the email, or if it goes into their filter or spam. But it's processed quickly. And so then in terms, and that really wasn't Alfred's question. Alfred's question was, how do we help liquidate, which was number 4 on the process. Well, I guess I could have referred to this in answering Alfred's question. But so what we'll do is we'll assign someone that's going to work with them, helping them post their assets as stated here. Now, in terms of liquidating, we can help them do that. And it's just like any of us, right? Any of us that run or have ran a business, unless you're running a snow cone stand where everybody's literally paying you before they walk away with their cherry snow cone, we typically have to have a plan for what's called revenue cycle management. And most of you learn this in school, right? So it's following the dollar from the time it comes into your business, or the obligation, the receivable, until liquidation. And so we're very good at helping clients develop a revenue cycle management process. Again, a lot of these folks are sophisticated. They've dealt with receivables before. It's not their first rodeo. But you're right, Alfred, in some cases we need to train them. And so, what do you do when you have a receivable? Step 1, invoice the client, right? Invoice the client. But we will definitely work with them on that. All right, so are there any other questions that anyone has in understanding that there is a difference between credit and funding program and QuickCash? They can be used in conjunction. They can be used separately. You, as a distribution partner, can make money from both. So with credit and funding program, you would decide, are you going to be an affiliate or a white label partner? That will determine the process, and that will determine how much money you make. In general, affiliates make about $3,000 for each person they refer to their landing page. White label partners on average make about 4 times that. So there's more involvement for white label partners, but more control, more income. On the QuickCash side, quite frankly, you don't need to be an affiliate nor a white label partner. And we went through, I think, a really thorough training of a very simple process yesterday. So if you need help with that, let us know. But certainly watching yesterday's training should be of assistance. So as shown here on the bottom, we're here. If you need assistance, you can call us, you can text us, you can email us at support@guaranteedfunding.org. But I think it's, in summary and closing, to me, it's exciting that you and I are accomplishing three tasks together. We're helping you make a lot of money from a part-time gig, and that's a good thing. Secondly, we're helping improve financial literacy of individuals, because a lot of them, we talk about kind of joke, but a lot of times we talk about, people just want funding. They just want funding. We don't just want funding. You have to qualify for funding. And that's what you and I do by helping them improve their 3 C's. So 3 things to be excited about: you making a lot of money. Second is helping improve individuals' financial literacy. And then the third is improving their financial position, helping them get access to funding to start or grow a business, helping them participate in QuickCash and seeing an immediate jump in their net worth, an immediate improvement in their balance sheet, an immediate improvement in their liquidity, and helping them turn those receivables into cash flow. So what we do, you and I, it's different. It's good, it's legal, it's ethical. It's very much needed, but it's contrarian. It's different than what most people are used to. I was visiting with one of our top referral partners earlier this morning, and she's a PhD, so she gets it. She understands that there's this vast difference between the financial literacy in general of the haves and the have-nots. And typically, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I think in many cases, the haves don't really want the have-nots to understand how to play this game, how to get ahead. But that's what you and I do. We're bridging that gap. And so we're helping anyone guaranteed get at least $100,000 to start or grow a business, not through pie in the sky dreams or hopes or pots of gold at the end of the rainbow, but by just simply rolling up our sleeves and helping them become qualified for funding while building their financial literacy. Alternatively, some people just need quick cash. They need results fast, and they frankly don't even yet qualify for a loan. I don't know that anyone else has a program or programs like you and I offer as technical advisors. So if you're not a distribution partner, not an affiliate, of course, the partner page is where to get plugged in for that. No cost to be an affiliate, no production requirements, no strings attached. All right, well, we covered a lot in a short amount of time, but the goal was to just be able to step back and make sure that we understand the interrelationship between QuickCash and credit and funding, how a client can enroll in both. They can enroll in one before the other. All right, so Sarah's asking before we go, what is our recommended approach? And thank you, Sarah. That's probably a good place to stop. I would recommend that you lead with a credit and funding program. Drive them to your landing page. You'll know when they fill this out because the system will email you. Let's get as many people as possible enrolled in the credit and funding program. You can let them know that they can defer the refundable setup fee. Well, how do you defer it? Once you've enrolled, not before, but once you've enrolled, then we can add them into QuickCash, and this will defer. So they do not have to pay the refundable setup fee up front like normal. By enrolling first in credit and funding, then into QuickCash, then we defer that and we're able to help them immediately. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Let us know if you need anything. Bye-bye.